Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
So I'm up there just doing my little 1-2 thing, and I'm like, "Is Brooklyn in the house?" Every smile in the room turned upside down. It was like I
Very
just hit,
territorial up there.
I hit the beef button. Them niggas trip. Ain't no fucking Brooklyn in here. I'm like, dog, I didn't plan on fighting. I planned on boo. Nigga boo. Y'all can boo, but you can't stay seat. But it ended up going cool. And then after that, like shit, when I started going to other places, like when I went to comedy in Harlem, I got a standing ovation. That shit blew my mind. Like, it was like all up from there. Cause even after that, I went to Brooklyn and it was the same thing. It was like an amazing show. The couple shows after that went a little rough, but like overall, because of the fact that I saw great success out there, it was surreal.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. I want to thank you all for tuning in as you do each and every week. Shout out to those of you who are watching on YouTube. Man, check this out. On this episode, you see the title, it's just comedy. I wanted to talk a little bit about comedy, right? Because I think they always say the terms or the phrase laughter is good for the soul. Um, and when I started thinking about coming on and talking about comedy, uh, look, I'll be honest, I didn't have to go far. I got a friend. My homeboy is going to come through today. We're going to talk comedy. He is a comedian, but before he's a comedian, he was more importantly a podcaster, and a full-time father, the host of the Too Much Game podcast. My boy, Uncle Dolemite, is back in the building. Dolemite, what up?
What's happening? I'm a podcaster with a hard ER.
and Dolemite, you can cuss. I know you be like, man, I come on 12 Kyle, I don't be wanting to cuss. Man, you can cuss.
I'm telling you, 12 Kyle is the most wholesome podcaster of all. You just feel like you're not supposed to cuss. And he not that much older than us, so it ain't even
10
like, oh,
years,
it's
that's it.
my elder. He kind of like big brother more than like
Right,
uncle.
right. I
But
got
it's
you in bail
still
about
like,
10 years.
yeah, like he like that homeboy that, he go to church all the time. So he like, man, y'all niggas know you ain't supposed to be cussing around Kyle, man. Like, Kyle
Oh,
don't like
man.
this shit.
That is so funny. That is so funny. Yeah, man, I got you on here. Dolomite, now, if you guys have been following the podcast, Dolomite has been on before, been on the Rap Soul podcast a couple of times. And like I said, he is a comedian. So I want to start there, man. When you do a lot of things, full-time worker, full-time dad, which is probably most important. One of the things that, for those of you who know this man, those are that's one of the things that stands out about him. When you see him, you see his kids with him at all times. They fill up his stories. When you watch the Too Much Game podcast every Sunday live on YouTube, where you can check it out, make sure you subscribe there as well. You see his kids in the background. But what made you get into comedy? Because that's not something easy. That's not something that someone just wakes up and says they're going to do one day. And you and I have talked about it off air, probably on the phone. There's one thing in being funny, around your family and your friends, but being on a stage, being able to deliver a punchline, something totally different. So what made you get into comedy, man?
I feel like it kind of got forced on me, honestly. I
Okay.
got into comedy on accident. I it was one of them things where people tell you, you should do comedy, you should do comedy. But I had too much respect for the stage to just go into it blind.
Mhm.
Like, people like, oh man, you funny, you should try comedy. I'm like, I'm garage funny.
Okay.
I'm corner funny. I'm break room funny. Like, when you're around your homeboys, like you say, it's easy to crack a joke when people don't expect it because we all just
Mhm.
chilling. So you say a little zinger and everybody like, oh man, that was funny. But it's different when somebody hands you a microphone and say, make these 50 people laugh.
Mm.
Here's 300 strangers that ain't never met you before. Tell them that joke that you told in the garage and make them laugh at it. So with me, I kind of was like, nah, nah. So when I had Maury Richardson on, I met him at an award show and we chopped it up and he was a comedian and he was pretty funny. So I'm like, okay, how do you get into that? So when he broke everything down, it was probably the most thorough breakdown I've ever heard in how to start comedy, which was, come to an open mic, here's where we do the shows. These are the guys that book the shows. Come down, I'll show you some stuff. So I went down there to the open mic and he like, look, just get you some material. I talked to my mentor, JP Justice. I think you know JP.
Mm-hmm. Shout out JP.
So he broke down how to write jokes. So I sat down and he was like, man, just whatever jokes that you think are funny that you say, which honestly enough, Germ probably knew all of my material before I even started comedy.
Shout out to King Germ from Pod and Saved Our Marriage.
Yeah, because most of my jokes came from shit I said on Instagram Live, joking with them.
Okay.
Them was all my jokes. So, pretty much how I got into comedy was I got tricked into it by Maury Richardson.
Man, that says a lot too, because like I remember, and we go back that far to where I remember you started talking about, man, I think I'm gonna jump into this comedy thing. And as a friend, I was never gonna be like, nah, man, you shouldn't do that, because I was like, no, he's funny. But I'm like, okay. I don't even think I asked, but I remember just talking to you, and you were like, you seem very, very sure about it. So I was like, yeah, by all means, try it. And then what was that first moment like, the time the first joke landed when you were on stage? What did that feel like?
When it first landed,
Mhm.
it was dope. Like when I first got the microphone, I was terrified. But when the first joke land, it's like landing the first big punch in a fight.
Wow.
Cause it's like, okay, I might win. Like this is possible. Because at first, when you first get the microphone, it's like, what if they boo? Like, what if they just sit there and jingle their keys? Or what if you could hear people coughing or farting? Or, you could hear people chairs screeching under them.
Mhm.
But it ended up working out well. So it felt great getting that first laugh. I see why people say once you get that first little laugh, you get bit by that bug. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this every time. I'm gonna keep doing this because
Mhm.
it felt good.
Now you are somebody, like I said, I know, and somebody I consider to be a friend, and you don't lack in confidence at all. So I remember we were talking about something one day, and you mentioned about how being really, really nervous, because there's difference between having butterflies. Because like I tell people all the time, even like when I play football, I always had even when you playing a team, you know you're gonna put up 100 points on. You still had butterflies until you got that first hit, and so I, I know that you were always very confident, but you mentioned being nervous, and I was like, well, nervous kind of lends to a little bit of, I don't want to say indecisiveness or anything like that, but just not really unsure. Um, how do you handle, you know, just being nervous or having those butterflies before you get that first punch in?
Um, is like one of them things, like how like just like how I talk about on the podcast all the time. It's like um, I fear more what I don't do than what I do and fail at.
Okay.
Like I fear regret more than I fear failure.
Mm.
So it's like I gotta get up here because as much as I'm afraid of bombing, what if I get up here and kill it? So I might as well get up here and get on this stage and hope for the best. Cause even if I have a bad show, my bills still gonna get paid. My
There
kids
you
still
go.
gonna be straight. Everything in my life is still gonna go well. So as much as I fear having a terrible set, I'd much rather go up here and just at least give it my best shot. Like, so the the fear of regret is worse than the fear of failure. So
That makes
pretty
total
much
sense.
everything I do, that's how I conquer fear in most shit that I do.
That makes total sense. That makes total sense. One of the funny things, or one of the most memorable things that I can say about your comedic journey was your literal journey to New York. Now, if you guys know Dolomite's from Compton, California, um, and you went out to New York to hit some stages for a week. Talk about what that did, because I know, because we talked and I saw it. I mean, like, he was all over Instagram. I saw, I saw this man smile more in a week, on Instagram. I saw smile the whole time I've known him. And but what was that? What made that trip so special? Going out to New York, hitting different stages. Again, somebody coming from Compton to New York City to do comedy.
I think the fact that it was a successful trip was like the biggest like surprise of it all.
Okay.
Because I kind of went thinking that it was gonna be like, all right, let me go get my lumps. Like, let me go learn some lessons. I'm finna go get my ass kicked in New York. Like, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of bad sets. I'm probably gonna be bombing a lot. I'm probably gonna get booed a couple times. But at least I'm gonna come back a better comedian. Like, I felt like that's what that's why I went. Like, New York is the place that's known for not being the nicest to people. So it's like,
Right.
I'm gonna get immediate feedback on what I do. And I had only been doing comedy maybe 3 months
Okay.
before I went. Like, I started at the end of February and I was there the first day of June.
Yep.
So I'm like, I only been doing this a itty bitty little bit. Like, I'm a brand new baby. I'm like an infant. Like, so when I got out there, the first set went as expected. Like, it wasn't the greatest. I
Okay.
did okay, but shit, the my second performance that I did on the first night that I was out there, I genuinely thought I was gonna have to fight my way out the building. I was like,
That is funny.
I might have to fight these niggas. They might throw a full soda can at me,
Mm.
because that was when I did the "Is Brooklyn in the house" joke in the Bronx,
In the
and them
Bronx.
Bronx niggas like that. Like, I didn't even know it was a rivalry. I was unaware, so I found out, nigga. It's like, if you in Inglewood, don't shout out Compton or Long Beach. It was one
There
of
you
them
go.
type of things. Like, so, the set, it was going okay, the first one, because I had a nice little older crowd. There was nice
Mhm.
older people. That second crowd was the gangster crowd.
Mm.
JP invited a bunch of his gangster ass friends from the Bronx. So I'm up there just doing my little 1-2 thing, and I'm like, "Is Brooklyn in the house?" And them niggas turned every smile in the room turned upside down. It was like I
Very
just hit
territorial up there.
yeah, I hit the beef button. Pause. Boop. Them niggas was tripping. "Ain't no fucking Brooklyn in here." They was standing up and shit. I'm like, "Dog, I didn't plan on fighting. I
Right.
I planned on boo. Nigga, boo. Y'all can boo, but you can't." They see. But, it ended up going cool, and then after that, like, shit, when I started going to other places, like, when I went to Comedy in Harlem, I got a standing ovation. That shit
Mm.
blew my mind. Like, it was, like, all up from there. Cause even after that, I went to Brooklyn and it was the same thing. It was like a amazing show. The couple shows after that went a little rough, but, like, overall, because of the fact that I saw great success out there, it was surreal. It went from like a business trip to damn near like, this is what it feels like to be a celebrity. Like, this is
Mm.
like a preview of it.
Okay.
Because one day me and JP, we was in Harlem, and we was headed back to Comedy in Harlem because I was gonna try to get on a show with this dude named Smokey Suarez.
Okay.
He was in like State Property and a bunch of like Rockefeller movies and stuff like that. Like, he been on Comic View and Def Comedy Jam. I was gonna try to jump on his show. But as we walking toward Comedy in Harlem from the parking spot, it was a lady sitting on a stoop, and she was like, "Oh, you guys going up to Comedy in Harlem?" And we like, "Yeah." She like, "Oh man, last night they told me there was this comedian and he was from LA, I think Compton maybe, and he was so funny. They just talked about him just like he just was the greatest, and I just hate that I missed him." And I'm like, "He was from Compton? That's crazy. Like, what did he look like?" She was like, "Oh, they didn't say what he looked like. They just said he was from Compton and he was just so funny." I'm like, "That's crazy, because I think that's me they was talking about,
Right,
but it
right.
just was a trip. Like, damn, they talking about me when I ain't around. Like, so yeah, that was dope. That's why I was so happy in New York because I'm like, even if every other set after Comedy in Harlem went terrible, just
Mhm.
that one night made the whole trip like it was above and beyond expectations. So that's why I was out there grinning because I think I called you
Yeah,
while
you
I was
did.
out
I
there.
think
Like,
we might have FaceTime or you called me or something like that. I
yeah,
just remember I remember, like I said, bro, you was smiling the whole every video, every Instagram story. You was out there smiling and cheesing and just having a good time. And I was like, he got a lot of love in New York. I said that's gonna do well for what when he comes back to LA to perform. So what was it like going from those stages to coming back home and performing, in front of the crowds? Because you're doing different sets at this particular time in comedy at different spots around not just LA, but around the county and stuff like that.
yeah, I was stomping their ass out when I got home. Like when I got home, it was kind of like if you like a athlete, like you're a football player or a basketball player, and you like a little local dude, and then you run out to go hoop with the professionals
Hmm.
for a week, and they showing you all the little tricks of the trade, and they like, yeah, you got to do it like this and do that. So it's like I just got done playing with Kobe and them, at the gym for a week. So now I'm coming back to the same niggas who I just left, and I'm like 10 years advanced on the last time they seen me. So when I got back, I was kicking niggas backs in. Like I
Mm,
I felt like from what I just got done doing in New York, like I'm already a professional at this point. Like even though I'm still 3 months in plus
right.
1 week, nigga, that 7 days felt like 7 years of experience just in that little bit of time. So by the time I got back home, the stages just felt like this is easy. Like these y'all niggas, this is birthday cake right here. Like,
You mentioned rough crowds. How do you handle the rough crowd? How do you handle? Because you're quick with it, so I can imagine. I don't think I've seen any videos of you and hecklers, but how do you handle rough crowds and hecklers, or are they one and the same?
um, nah, a rough crowd is worse than a heckler because a heckler is easy to deal with. Like
Mm,
I kind of liken a heckler to a mistake and a bad crowd to a bad habit or a bad characteristic where you can handle a mistake like it ain't nothing, like problem solution.
mhm,
A heckler, a lot of time I don't even think I give off the personality that a heckler feel like I'm the nigga to be played with.
right.
Cause I've been in shows where a heckler has heckled a lot of comedians, and then when I got up there, they didn't play with me like they played with them.
Okay.
Like to the point where sometimes I'll be like, "Damn, nigga, why I ain't get the heckle? Why you ain't say nothing when I got up there?" Because I think I don't know, just something about my demeanor is like I'm not finna play with this nigga.
Mhm.
So I don't really get heckled a lot, but I've had some rough crowds, and
What was the roughest crowd you had so far?
Truth in Queens.
Okay, so back to New York.
It's it's known. Like they got a reputation for it. Like it's a West Indian crowd. They're not really jokey people. Like if you're not telling West Indian jokes, they don't give a fuck. Like they don't care about none of that shit. They don't care about the fat lady at the bus stop. They don't care about two elves walked into a bar.
Mm.
They don't give a fuck about none of that. Like nigga, tell us something about Jamaica. Nigga, if you ain't got nothing about patois, you ain't got nothing about beef patties or something that they fuck with. If it
Right.
ain't about Vibes Cartel, they ain't trying to hear that shit.
Wow.
So that was the rough crowd. And then like, just other little spots in certain places, like, you know, a lot of it is sometimes you get more of a listening crowd than a laughing crowd.
Okay.
So, that to me, that's a rough crowd. But Truth in Queens, that crowd, they ain't give a fuck.
Mm.
Like, but I haven't really encountered no crowds where they just really didn't like me. Cause
Okay.
you know, a lot of what comedy is likability more than anything.
No
It's
doubt.
kind of like you're campaigning. So if you get off on the wrong foot with a crowd, you're gonna have a rough crowd. But you know, JP always tell me you can never blame the crowd because your job is to make them laugh. So you can't blame them. You just didn't do your job well.
That's a great point. That is a great point. So, so how do you go about handling an audience, particularly like let's say you got, I don't know, let's say 100 people in a room, and you've got someone like, well, let's just say you don't know me, but I'm sitting there, I'm with my girl, and I'm like this. And for those you can't see, I'm on camera. I got my arm folded. I'm like, make me laugh, dog. Like I just I'm not being mean. I'm not being aggressive, but I'm sitting here waiting on you to say something funny. Do you aim? I don't want to say aim a joke at me in that particular instance, but how do you crack people like that? Because I'm sure you're standing on stage, you see everything. How do you crack people like that that are just sitting there with their arms folded, not ready to laugh, wanting you to make them laugh?
Me personally, it depends on how many people like that is in the crowd.
Okay.
Because if I got 50 people laughing and number 51 is sitting there with his arms crossed,
Right.
fuck him. Like I'm gonna just keep doing my job. Like, nigga, your silence don't affect the rest of the crowd. Like I'm aiming at the majority. If
Mhm.
you don't think it's funny, that's cool. Like everybody got an opinion. You know, everybody got a thing. So if you don't think this shit is funny, hey nigga, hopefully the next comic make you laugh, nigga. But I'm not here for you. I'm here for everybody.
Right.
So if it's one nigga sitting there with his arms crossed, nigga, long as you shut the hell up, nigga, I'm cool with that. Cause they're
Mhm.
laughing. Nigga, just don't interrupt their good time. Like,
Right.
you know, I know comics who fuck they setup trying to make one nigga laugh. Like,
Mm.
that's something that, you know, like certain things I give JP a lot of credit for as far as like my comedic journey and everything that I've learned in comedy. But that's one of the things that I had to learn on my own. Like just from watching. Like even when it comes to hecklers, like, you know, I've probably had maybe 3
Okay.
since I've been doing comedy where and not even toxic. I don't think I've ever had a toxic heckler. Like most of my hecklers have been what I view a lot of hecklers as, which is people who just want to be part of the show.
There you go.
You know, certain people they just have this innate thing within themselves where they don't like when attention is not on them. So while the show is going on, they feel like they gotta participate. Like they gotta talk back to the joke. They gotta like, oh no, that ain't, you know, that ain't on that street, or you know, it's like, okay. You know, and a lot of times I'll help. I'll let them be part of the show. You know, like I tell Mario all the time, I don't go against the flow. I go with the flow.
There you go.
So if they want to be a part of the show, I'll make them part of the show. If you want to say some dumb shit, I'm gonna crown you. But you know, most of the time I haven't really had that problem because you know, again, I don't give off the personality of somebody to be played with. So most of the time when I get hecklers, they just trying to like really involve themselves in the joke. Like,
Mm.
you know, I did a joke about being a stripper, and this woman was like, "Are you really a stripper? Do you really strip?" And I'm like, "Lady, I'm joking." But it's like, since we're going here, I'ma just punch the joke up for you.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I'ma just run with it now because you want to involve yourself. But for the most part, you know, I just go with the flow of what the crowd is, and even if I have a rough crowd, I just deal with it. Like, you know, I'm like, look, I got to be up here for 10 minutes or 30 minutes or however long. I'ma just do the best that I can. So if this nigga don't like it, I'ma try to get them niggas to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when I did Truth in Queens, even though that was a fucked up crowd full of Jamaican niggas that was looking at me like, boom, Ras, get this Rasclad Batty boy out. Like, nigga, they wanted me out of here. One lady in the front laughing.
Hmm.
So I was like serenading her like Johnny Gill, just
There you
looking her in
go.
her eye, telling every joke to her. Lady, I love that you're laughing. these are your jokes. Tonight is just me and you. Fuck these niggas. So that's how I deal with niggas with their arms crossed. I act like they ass ain't there.
No doubt, no doubt. So even before you started getting, even before you got into comedy, who was like that first comedian for you? I'm not even gonna ask you like your top. I'm not gonna do that. Actually, top five and nothing like that. But like, who was that first comedian that had you like laughing your ass off, slapping your knees at whatever age you started, you know, recognizing who was funny, who wasn't funny? Who was the first comedian for you that did that for you?
That's difficult because like when I was little, my first time watching Def Comedy Jam,
Okay.
it was so many of them. Like Shucky Ducky was funny as a motherfucker.
Mm.
Bernie Mac, Chris
Rest in peace.
Tucker, like it was a lot of dudes. Like I think one of the first ones who stood out stylistically was Dion Cole.
Mm.
Like the way he got on stage, he looked like he was lost. Like the way Dion Cole looked when I first seen him as opposed
Mhm.
to who he is now was
Right.
1,000% different.
Okay.
Like, and this ain't even a disparage Dion Cole, because I've ran across him a couple times and he was real cool in person. But like when he first was on Def Comedy Jam, like he had this like he was
I
always
don't
like
even
looking
remember him
like
on Def. I gotta go back and watch. I don't even remember him on Def Jam.
that's
Def
what I'm
Comedy
saying,
Jam.
because if you watch him, you wouldn't even know that was him. He's like
Wow.
unrecognizable compared to how he was on Def Comedy Jam. Because he did the bit that he does now where he bring his little pen out and he like,
Mhm. Yeah. That's funny.
I mean, that that worked. It was the same thing, but he looked like an open micer. Like he come out, he all like you could tell he was high and he tell his little jokes and he like, yeah, man, I think it was a pimp delivered me some pizza. And he said he had the fucking pizza up under his arm like it was some albums. And he had his two hoes with him. And, he delivered the pizza and it was like, yeah, man. He said, and I gave him the money. And when everybody laughed, he
Mhm.
pulled that pen. I was like, I said, I
Wow.
want to do that. Like,
Right.
I want to try that because that shit, I want to be able to do that. But
Genius.
I can't think of one because Def Comedy Jam used to be so, like, I remember Martin hosting it.
Mhm. Okay,
No
you were
matter
way
how the
back.
episode went, that shit would be funny. Like
Yeah.
he would have you dying. So it's like even if the comic before, went up and bombed, he'd come behind him and kill it.
Mhm.
And it was like, I think Def Comedy Jam is what made me not want to do comedy
Gotcha.
because the level was so high. It's like I could never be this funny.
Man, listen. I
Like
think
there's no way I could do this.
I think the one for me was obviously Richard Pryor. Like you said, I'm 10 years older than you, so I remember we had to sneak and listen to Richard Pryor. Like we literally had somebody. I think one of my aunts had a Richard Pryor record, and so we would play the record on the record player. We had it in somebody. My cousin took it and put it in his room, and then my brother would be looking out, like make sure no adult was coming down the hallway, and we would be in there with the turn down real low. But he was getting off these jokes, and looking back on it now, we're like, I don't know, 8 or 9, and especially jokes about sex. We don't know what the hell head was, anything like that. But it's just the way he delivered it. So we was just I mean, it was just funny. Richard Pryor, in my personal opinion, greatest of all time. But I'm glad that you had that experience because Def Comedy Jam was something totally different, man. And you're right, Martin was a great host there. And I remember Martin, if it wasn't going too well for, like you said, for some of the other comedians, Martin, he'll start getting on people in the audience. Especially if celebrities came, he would shout them out, show them some love, and then he'd crack a couple of jokes at them. Um, yeah, Def Comedy Jam was always special. What did you think about? Because I'm pretty sure you probably saw your good bit of Comic View. What did you think about Comic View? Did you see anybody there that really just stood out to you, said to make you think, okay, that might be something I may want to try, I may not try, or I just really enjoyed?
It was the same thing, honestly.
Okay.
Like the level of how good these people was on Comic View was like, I don't think I could do this shit.
Mhm.
Like, DL Hughley was the original host of,
Yeah.
funny enough, DL was the host of Comic
Right.
View. He was hilarious. Like, and I mean, like, to this day, like, you seen him in
Still,
person. Like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
nigga is like
Still.
it. He don't have to come with nothing prepared. Like, he will have you hollering, laughing with some shit that's happening in the room in the moment. Like, that dude
Mhm.
is a genius.
Yeah.
So, like, watching DL Hughley, shit, just like it was a comic called Trifling. I think he passed away. He was funny as hell. Like, he had a joke about getting beat up in the club. And the way he told the joke about, just like, he was like, and then you size him up and you like, man, I'm bigger than him. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh yeah. And then he like, you realize his hands are so fast. And he was like, he punched me again. All the punches are landed. I realized I ain't land one punch. He like, this nigga just picked me up. My feet have left the ground. He's about to slam me. Like, the way he just told it, I'm like, this is the funniest shit I ever heard.
Right.
And it's like, mind you, Comic View, they wasn't even cussing. And
No,
it's
not at
not
all.
it's not until I got grown and into comedy that I realized how difficult that was. So then when you realize, like, Def Comedy Jam, that's no holds barred. They just in there getting it in. And then Def Comedy Jam, you gotta do it for network TV.
Right.
And they still was hilarious. Like, I remember
Yes.
um, Dominique, she was
She was cold.
hilarious,
She was cold,
you
bruh.
know. And mind you, she on network TV talking about weed.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like how music was from the 70s, where they could be talking about something that you're not supposed to be talking about, but they could talk about it in a way
Right.
that little kids could hear it and they just don't know what it is, but the grown-ups know what they talking about.
Right.
So, like, Dominique was like another, like, one of the comics who I would watch on Comic View and be crying laughing.
Mm.
Like, some more was one of my favorite
Super
ones. Like,
dope. Super dope.
I Samore is the greatest female comedian ever to me. But
Man, she's up there for me. And I'll be honest, and I think I may have told you this before, but when I was younger, I used to be really, really rough on female comics. I don't know why. I mean, I love women. I don't know why, but I would just like I would be that guy sitting there like, all right, you got to be funny. And I think some more Adele Givens, and it was one other lady. I cannot remember this lady, short, dark skin. She had kind of big teeth, but she was funny as
Cheryl
hell.
Underwood,
No, it wasn't Short Underwood. It was somebody. It was I'm out. She did Comic View, and I want to say she did Def Jam too. I'm pretty sure I can. If I look it up, I'll be able to find out. I'll text it to you. Um, but like those
you talking
women
about
when they
her, be like, I'm such a fucking lady.
no, that's Adele Gibbons. I think
That's
was that
Adele
Adele Givens?
Givens.
That's Adele Givens. No, I
Yeah, that's
mentioned
Adele
her.
Givens.
There was
But
another one.
Cheryl Underwood got them big ass
Yeah, she
teeth
got
and gums too. And she
and
short
she's
and dark
funny.
skinned.
But it
And
wasn't
she
her.
funny as hell.
It was I think her name was Melissa something. I could be wrong. But anyway, my point is that I was really, really tough on them. Um, so it got me to thinking about like who's I always let me phrase this question the right way because I don't want to because you run in a lot of different circles. I don't want to put you in have you say someone here that
You
that you
know
might
I ain't
regret.
tripping. 'Cause even though I
So
run into these niggas in person, they know, all of them who've met me know I say what I say.
there you go.
'Cause
So
shit, these niggas is
there's
not what you think they is.
eh,
They not
well,
that
yeah, for
serious.
sure, for
'Cause
sure.
I recently met Corey Holcomb. Nice dude.
Mhm. And
Cool
he don't
ass
come
nigga.
off as that.
Exactly. Like, when you see him on TV, you see him on the
Mhm.
podcast,
Podcast, yeah.
see him on stage, you think like, "Oh, man, this nigga, he's a nice guy." That
Okay.
nigga cool as hell when you meet him.
So who to you a lot of people think is funny, but you don't particularly think it is that funny?
I know
Th
this is like a corny answer, but Kevin Hart.
he
Like,
was the one I was gonna mention.
yeah,
And I like Kevin. I just don't I saw the last couple of specials and I was just like literally just sitting there like even and I think me and you talked about this with Chris Rock too. And that hurts because Chris Rock, I was a fan, a big fan at one point, but now, I mean, like if you told me Chris Rock was performing down the street, I'm not going. And it's no disrespect. I think I don't know that he's bounced back from the slap. I saw the special after the slap. He kind of struggled through that. You know, it was we were all waiting for him to get to the Will story, and he stumbled through that. Maybe it was nervous. I don't know what it was, but he just didn't come off as funny anymore. Um, but yeah, I would say for me, Kevin and Chris, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like after dudes cross the 50 million mark, it's hard to be funny
Mm,
because you're not going to the bus stop no more.
mm,
You're not getting your own coffee no more. Like you're not doing the relatable things that everybody in the crowd can gravitate to. So it's like when you're not having normal experiences, like I can't make you laugh talking about how the Lamborghini dealership took too long bringing my car back. Like I can't make jokes about, oh man, the fuselage of this private jet was just so
mhm,
dusty. Oh my goodness. Oh, the room service at the W hotel was just, they were taking forever.
right.
Like, you no longer relatable when you get super rich. So it's kind of hard to tell those same jokes that you told when you were still going to the liquor store. When you were still getting caught in traffic jams with everybody else. Like you're not having
Mhm.
the experiences that everybody in the crowd can relate to. So I feel like a lot of comics after they reach that level, they lose they funny. And the first person who I heard actually express it on stage was Richard Pryor.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
Like he did a special, he was in New Orleans
Okay.
and he was talking about why he slowed down doing comedy on stage and he was like, "Cause I'm rich." He was like, I ain't got shit to complain about no more. Like, back when I was, getting into all these experiences and still, walking my own dog and shit, like I was having these things happening to where I could talk to y'all the way that we all talk amongst friends and people. But shit, nigga, now that I'm riding in limousines and shit, I don't know what the fuck happening at the gas station no more. Like,
Nope.
I feel like that's what happened to Martin.
Mm.
Like,
What
you
about
know,
Chappelle? I mean, Chappelle's clearly crossed the 50 million mark a long time ago.
I feel like the reason Chappelle could still do it at the level that he does it at is because he lives in Yellow Spring.
Yeah.
Like he's still probably going to the supermarket. He's still
Mhm.
probably pushing that cart through the supermarket. So even though, a lot of people critique what he's been doing lately, which is like, oh, it sounds more like a TED talk than a comedy special. Like he crossed the 50 million mark. Like he's
Yeah.
at the point now where, nigga, I can't just give you a whole bunch of punchlines.
Right.
Like I gotta do it the way I'm doing it because when you think about it, there is no actually funny $50 million comic. Zero in history.
Mm.
Like when you really think about most of the comics that crossed that mark, they all lost it.
Mm.
And if they didn't lose it in totality, they for sure lost a step.
Yeah. I would say, like, one of my favorites obviously is Eddie Murphy. Um, I don't think we'll ever see Eddie Murphy on a stage again. Not like that.
Because he can't practice.
Mhm.
Like I think I might have heard him say it or I've heard it just throughout the circle of comedy where you have to be able to work on the jokes.
Yeah.
Like
Facts.
every comedy club that nigga goes into, it's gonna be on the fucking news. So he can't just go and work a joke. Like he can't just go to the comedy store and just work out a little 15-minute set. He can't go do a little tight 10 at a little dive bar because everywhere he go, it's gonna be paparazzi, critics, cameras.
Mhm.
Like, I think I told you this. Dave Chappelle went to the comedy store not too long ago. They wouldn't let none of us in.
Dang. Yeah,
Like
you did tell me
they
that. You
didn't let,
did. You did.
they didn't let no comedians in because number one, comedians be stealing, and number two, like um, if you're working something to use on a special, you don't want a whole bunch of people in there who might spoil the fucking joke for the rest of society.
Mhm.
So it's like, he go in there and they sneak that nigga in and out like the president.
Wow.
Like, I just wanted to catch a glimpse of this motherfucker. I said, "Do y'all niggas got an underground tunnel to the fucking parking lot?" Because we was literally at the spot where everybody lets in and out, and
Mhm.
I didn't see that nigga until the fucking Suburban was driving off. They was like, "Yeah, he was in the second one." I'm like, "Ain't that
Wow.
a bitch?" I ain't even catch the side of this nigga head or
Head or
nothing. I
nothing.
ain't even see nothing. They call that nigga a smoking headliner. Like, they don't even put his name on the marquee. They
Mm.
just, like, say it like, it's him, but you don't know it's him.
Mhm.
But they not gonna tell you it's him. Like, it was a
Wow.
rumor that that nigga was there.
Okay. So did you know that at all that night that you went?
Yeah, that's why I went.
Okay.
'Cause,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
um, you know, I don't even go to the Comedy Store, honestly, because it's like whites only.
Okay.
Like,
Wow.
not that it's actually just some racist ass room where they tell you not to come in because you black or nothing like
Mhm.
that, but I don't like the way that the Comedy Store treat black people
Mm.
as a whole. So, I don't really go up there unless I got some business up there. Like, if I'm not personally invited by somebody, I don't even fuck with the Comedy Store
Okay.
because I don't know who's running it, but I don't like how it's ran. Like, anything that's black, like, actually black, they put niggas in the little room. Like, they
Okay.
got a room in there called the belly room, and everything that I know of that's black, dudes chill with that. It's loud.
Shout out to Deuce. I saw him in the
But,
background a few minutes ago.
yeah, everything they do at the Comedy Store that got black people involved, they put it in the smallest room. If it ain't like Craig Robinson, Dave Chappelle, Martin, um, Tracy Morgan, or like some big celebrity that's like
Mhm.
on network TV, they putting you in the belly room. And we
Mm.
got some phenomenal comics
Oh,
out here.
no
Some of the
doubt.
funniest humans in Los Angeles is black comedians out here, and they don't get into the main room at the Comedy Store, and I don't like that
Wow.
shit. So I
Wow.
don't really fuck with the Comedy Store like that. So when I know Dave Chappelle is there, like a nigga told us while we was at another show and we all partying, and they
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, Dave at the Comedy Store." I'm like, "What?" They like, "Yeah, Dave, he up at the Comedy Store works." Nigga, I'm leaving. Fuck this party.
Right.
I drove straight to the Comedy Store. Like, "Oh, Dolemite, you leaving already? Fuck y'all. I'm going to see Dave because
Right.
he's not a nigga who just be moving around like that. Like,
No
again,
doubt.
he's Dave Chappelle. So it's like Michael Jordan.
Mhm.
Like, you ain't just finna see this nigga just kicking it with y'all. Like, I'm sure it's niggas in the NBA that probably be around all the NBA niggas. They probably see
Mhm.
all the stars, all the old school motherfuckers, but you don't just see Mike.
Nah,
Like, that's
nah.
a whole different level of superstar. That's how Dave is. He pushed that regular guy shit to everybody else. Dave ain't no regular guy,
Mm,
especially amongst comedians.
mm.
So we might see Bill Burr somewhere.
Right.
We shit. You see, I ran up on DL Hughley. Like,
DL, yeah.
a lot of these niggas, we see them. Like, it's kind of hard to get starstruck in comedy because, especially in Hollywood, we see these niggas all the time. Like, I was a Chocolate Sunday. Shit, Mike Epps pulled up on us and we all chopping it up. He came and got in a little circle with us and kicked it with us like he was a regular open mic nigga. Same with Michael Blackson. Like, same with a lot of niggas. Like, they come through and just kick it with us. Like Alex Thomas, which was another one of the dudes who I used to watch on Comic View
Yeah.
and
Really
Def
good.
Comedy Jam. And, he came, "Hey, my name is Alex." Nigga, I know exactly who you are, nigga.
That's
Man,
somebody that's humble though, if he introduced himself
yeah.
like that.
A lot of these dudes, because that's the same thing with Corey. When I met Corey Holcomb, like, "My name is Corey." I'm like, "Nigga, everybody knows Corey Holcomb." But it's like, Dave, that's not a nigga who you just gonna see.
Right.
Like, shit, matter of fact, Kevin Hart,
Mm.
after the roast, the after party was down the street from the Laugh
Oh,
Factory.
wow.
All my homies all went up there. Everybody met Kevin Hart.
Okay.
They all said he was a nice dude, because that's another one of the things, like all the backlash that he caught behind the roast.
Mhm.
I ain't with it. Like I'm not mad at that nigga at all because at the end of the day, once you hit a certain level, you got to play the game a certain way.
Right.
He's doing what he got to do. You know, if that's what you in the game for, then you play the game based on what you in it for. He's in this motherfucker trying to get $1 billion. And if that's what it takes for him to get that $1 billion, I'm not mad at him. You know,
And,
it just is what it is.
and what you're referring to, for those of you aren't aware, a couple of weeks ago at the time of this recording, there was a roast for Kevin Hart. A bunch of comedians came on stage and, showing their love or whatever, and they were killing him with jokes. And one comedian, I can't remember his name, the white guy, made a
Tony
reference.
Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, made a reference to a joke about George Floyd. And so there was obviously, once this thing hit Netflix and hit, the internet and social media, a lot of backlash came at the direction of Kevin Hart. So that got me to thinking too, and I'm glad you brought it up. So what's a joke that you won't tell? Like you're like, okay, you know what? That's probably off limits.
A joke that ain't funny.
Mm,
Like, honestly, because like I was saying, dudes, chill out, dude. Let me get done. What I said, right after the whole roast controversy, our main job is to be funny. Like as long as it's funny, it could fly. The reason that I was more mad at the Tony Hinchcliffe joke is because it just wasn't funny.
no, not at all.
Like, and then on top of it, just layer two to where he fucked up at and had us fucked up at. You supposed to be roasting Kevin Hart. George Floyd ain't got nothing to do with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is not an activist. Because I could see that, like let's hypothetically say Kevin Hart is like this, black power advocate. He Black
Right,
Lives Matter and shit. And,
right.
he went hard for the whole George Floyd thing. That ain't got shit to do with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart shuts the fuck up when it comes to things of that nature. So that's a whole nother thing. Now, if your joke was about Kevin Hart not saying nothing for George Floyd, that would have been funny. Because when things like that happen, Kevin Hart, he fade to the background. He like Homer Simpson fading off into that bush. Like that nigga is like, I'm not
Right,
saying shit.
right. I ain't got nothing
Nigga,
to do with that.
that nigga got smoked. Hey, all lives matter, nigga. I'm back here,
Mhm.
nigga. I'm
Right,
sitting here under my money blanket, nigga. I'm
right.
covering my head. Fuck that. Y'all ain't finna cost me nothing. And we get it. That's what we know Kevin Hart for. Like,
Mhm.
he's not picking a side. He's on the side of the money. So as a comedian, the only thing I don't do is what ain't funny. Like, I'm not here to ruin nobody's day.
Mm.
Like, even when it comes to hecklers, even when it comes to a bad crowd, quote unquote, because again, a crowd is just a crowd.
Right.
You just did bad comedy. But when it comes to a rough crowd, like I'm not here to fuck nobody's day up. I'm here to make people laugh. That's the job. Like what you said in the very beginning, and what I know comedy to be. Like, of all the people who I accept any level of mentorship from, because I don't really let niggas tell me what to do.
Mhm.
But of the couple of comics who I have respect for, the mantra is the same. Like, we're here as healers. Like we're something of a doctor of the soul. Like
Facts.
we're here to make you feel better than you felt when you got here. So it's not my job to tell a joke that hurts the crowd.
Mhm.
Like as much as comedian or comedy being controversial, it's supposed to be funny first and foremost. Like controversy is just a part of what you do, not the whole of what you do. Because like I told people, like, nigga, if comedy is supposed to be controversial, I could just get on stage and say, Donald Trump is the greatest president of all time. Epstein wasn't wrong. It's okay to
Right,
fuck, teenagers. Don't even trip. That's
right.
all controversial as hell, but
Mhm.
then I leave. That's not funny.
No.
Oh, comedy is supposed to make you uncomfortable. So if I get on stage and I'm like, all your mamas is bitches. They all suck dick at some point and y'all didn't see it. Nigga, all your dads cheated on all your moms. And then I left. It's like, hold on, what the
Right.
fuck is that? Like I'm supposed to be funny. not
Mhm.
just controversial. I'm not just supposed to make you niggas uncomfortable. At some point, you're supposed to laugh at this shit. Like, I'm not here to ruin a motherfucker's day. So I'm not telling no jokes that I feel like is gonna leave the crowd feeling worse than they felt when I got there.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Um, you mentioned profanity earlier, being able to cuss. One of the funniest shows I've ever seen was from somebody who I really don't fuck with now, and that's Bill Cosby. But he did something, I think it was like 78, 79, maybe early 80s, called Bill Cosby himself. And the whole set, he doesn't cuss or anything. It's probably since I started with Pryor and then moved to Eddie Murphy, then found Bill Cosby stuff. It was probably the first one that I can remember where there was a whole set, a whole hour and a half long worth of jokes that were, clean. Could you do I don't know, 20-minute set without cussing?
Yeah, but it probably sucked. Like, um, oddly enough, if I showed you the set that I did at Comedy in Harlem, I didn't really cuss.
Really?
Outside of saying nigga, I didn't cuss. Um, when I
Hey, I,
did
I want
my
to see that because I don't ever remember you not cussing
Yeah, when I
at
did
all.
my show in Brooklyn, I didn't cuss. And the funny thing is, we got a comedian out here named Ron G who don't
Mhm.
cuss. And like I told him, I was like, it's crazy that you so good, I didn't even notice that you wasn't cussing.
There you go.
Like I feel like that's why the set at Comedy in Harlem was so good because I didn't realize I didn't cuss until I got done. And like I was telling JP about it. He was like, "You didn't cuss?" I said, "Outside of saying nigga, no, I didn't cuss."
Mm.
And he was like, "What?" I said, "I had to watch the shit to realize
Right.
that I wasn't cussing." I'm like, "What the fuck? I ain't cuss."
Right.
And he was like, "Why you didn't cuss?" I said, "Because I felt like the whole crowd was my uncles and aunties, and I
Mm.
just have an innate thing within me where when I'm around like older people, I don't be playing with them like that.
Mhm.
Like, remember I told you 12 Kyle, like outside of me going off on King Germ mom that one time, like I was raised to
I
respect
remember
my
that.
elders.
Yeah, such an
Like,
honorable young man you are.
yeah, like I'm an '80s baby, so like we wasn't raised to go crazy around grown people like that.
Mhm.
So when I was in them older crowds in New York, like Comedy in Harlem was an older crowd. Um, the 275 Park Avenue in Brooklyn, that was like an older crowd. So me seeing the older crowd, I don't know. I just didn't cuss. Like I was like, nigga, I'm using these bad words very
Right.
sparingly.
Mhm.
So when I did that set, because I might be able to send it to you. I'll send you the Comedy in Harlem
Yeah,
set so you
send
can
it to
see
me if
it.
you got it. Send it to me.
I
Send it
think I
to me.
did like 10 to 15 minutes, and the only cuss word was nigga because
Mm.
it it didn't it didn't make the jokes hit no harder.
Mhm.
Like now a lot of my jokes, the profanity is what, because that's the thing about comedy. Like it's not all about using profanity. It's just if it makes the joke funnier, then by
Yeah,
all means
no
get it
doubt.
off. But if it don't, then it's excessive.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a lot of what, certain comics, especially like in the 90s, would talk about as far as the Richard Pryor effect on comedy.
Right.
Dudes spend so much time trying to emulate the raunchiness of it, they forgot the funniness of it.
He was raunchy and funny.
Exactly. That's
He was
that's the thing.
he was raunchy and funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of videos I've seen, man, and the thing I like about this video is that you told me the story before I saw the video, and that was your experience at Chocolate Sunday out there in LA. So just for those of you who haven't seen it, Dolomite's doing a set at Chocolate Sunday. It's a huge spot out in LA. In his first time on stage at Chocolate Sunday, he had been going, trying to get on an open mic or whatever, gets on stage, is doing a set, and you go into the joke, and you told me how you lost the joke as you were going through the joke. And it was like, as the crowd started to not they weren't even heckling, but they were just, you could feel the uneasiness, and you was like, and you told the crowd, like, man, I forgot, I didn't forgot my joke. And then so there was like, they started to give you like the, oh, it's okay, slow clap, oh, it's okay, baby, pat on the back type of thing. And then the light came on. And when I tell you, Uncle Dolemite showed out from that point on, like he just went on a rampage of jokes, and the shit was hilarious. And it was like the light switch came on. But what happened in that moment where you literally and figuratively forgot the joke?
Like I always compare comedy to a fight
Mhm.
because comedy, like the back and forth of it is like a boxing match. So at that point where they gave me that little like open mic clap, it kind of felt like that punch that you get where you feel your legs get wobbly, like this nigga
Mhm.
finna knock me out. Oh, you got me fucked up at this point. Like, nigga, hold on. Like, it was like one of my favorite boxers of all time, Aaron Pryor.
Mm,
Um,
dope.
he fought a boxer named Alexis
Arguello?
Arguello.
Yep, I
Yeah.
remember that. I remember that fight. I saw that.
And he gave that nigga like a cool bow to the chin, and you see that nigga
Mhm.
head go back. Like, oh, nigga, oh, hell no. Nigga, did you just
Right.
try to knock me out right now? And it's
Mhm.
like, nah, I'm finna beat your ass now. Cause, like how you said in football, like you get that first hit where it's like, oh, it's real.
Yeah, is what we doing?
It's,
Okay.
it's game time now.
Right, right.
That's what it was. Like, once I got that clap, it was like, this shit could fuck my career up if I don't bounce back from this. So
Mhm.
it was like that pressure of I cannot bomb. Like now that I know that this shit not obviously it's not going that well, I gotta
Right.
kick them in their ass
Right,
because I'll never get on this stage again if I don't recover from this shit. So
right.
it was like, all right, nigga, let me stop bullshitting.
Yeah, you
Like the the,
you
the
literally
stage
had a
fright.
look on your face like, "Y'all got me fucked up."
Yeah. Because once I heard that shit, I'm like, oh, y'all think I'm bombing. Like, y'all clapping
Mhm.
like I'm a new guy and shit. Like,
Right.
and granted, I am still relatively new. Like, in the grand scheme of things,
Mhm.
like, until you hit about 10 years, you're a new guy in comedy. Like, comedy years is not like other professions where after about 2 or 3, you kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, he's in there. Nah, nigga, comedy, nigga. Until you hit about 10 or 15, they still looking at you like you an open micer.
Mhm. Right, right.
So with my little year and a half at the point that shit happened, I'm like, oh, y'all got me fucked all the way up, nigga. Cause I'm not one of them little niggas.
No doubt, no doubt. I'll get you out of here on this, man. Um, what do you wanna how far do you wanna take this? Because I know one of the things that is great about you is that, like you said, you drive truck for a living, but you're that, full time dad, and you are there for your kids every day, and you see them every day, and you love on them and discipline them and have fun with them. You're the fun dad. At least that's the way it appears. When you send us the videos and stuff. Um, and I know if it blew up tomorrow, if Hollywood came a calling and they wanted you to write for a show or you had to go do some type of tour, now your dynamics change at home. Um, and I'm not saying that, I'm not asking this that you wouldn't want to be successful, or, I don't think you want to be as big as Kevin Hart, but, or maybe you do. I don't know. What is the next few steps for Uncle Dolomite, the comedian, look like? Or how would you want it to look?
Um, like I was just having this conversation with the homie about like the ultimate level of fame that I want to reach. And I was telling them, Slink Johnson,
Mm.
pause. I hate that that's his name. His whole name.
Sling
But
Johnson.
you know, he played Black Jesus on
Mhm.
BET.
Yep, yep.
He was Lamar in Grand Theft Auto. He's an accomplished, local comedian out here out of LA. And he's just famous enough to where if he's in Starbucks, people are like, hey, ain't that Slink
Mhm.
Johnson?
Okay.
But not so famous to where he can't go to the airport.
Okay.
You know, like I want to be able to pay my bills off of comedy alone to where I don't have to drive trucks no more.
Okay.
Like I want to make the level of money in comedy that sustains me and my family to where I can have a level of generational wealth. And it don't got to be, multitude of millions of dollars, but just my intellectual property brings in enough money to take care of my family. Like, I'd rather be Byron Allen than Kevin Hart.
Man, Byron Allen is killing it, man. I saw a couple of his videos just last week at the time of this recording, and what he's doing in that space. And I remember Byron Allen when I was little, and he was on Ripley's Believe It or Not, and he also did comedy and stuff like that. But really, he's people now. I mean, people my age mostly know him from that, but a lot of people don't know in the business spaces, in the venture capital spaces, in the business equity spaces that he's in now, don't even remember him from comedy. So to get to that level, man, you would definitely be what they would deem a huge success from the
That
stage.
nigga like a billionaire.
Yeah, yeah,
And a lot of people don't know who the hell he is.
no,
Like Byron Allen could walk in any restaurant right now and again, like maybe two or three people like, ain't that old boy
right,
from
right,
the
right,
TV show? But it ain't like to where they gonna swarm him.
right, right.
Like
He not gonna get the Chris Rock treatment.
exactly. Like that is ultimately where I want to be in comedy. Like, of
Gotcha.
course, I want to be the funniest motherfucker in any room. Like that's what all of us as comics strive for. But career wise, I just want to be famous enough to where niggas want to pay for my food, but not so famous to where I can't take my kids out. Like
Mm,
I don't even want to be a
yeah,
prisoner to my fame.
same.
Like I don't want to be Will Smith. I don't want to be Kevin Hart. Like I don't even Dave Chappelle. Like I like the way Dave Chappelle handles fame
Mhm.
because that's what it would look like if I was to get Dave famous.
Right.
Like if I was as famous as Dave Chappelle, I'd move to like Walnut, California.
I was about to say, because you ain't leaving California. I couldn't see you leaving California.
Nah,
I can
I
see
ain't
you
leaving.
leaving the IE maybe, but I couldn't see you leaving California.
Yeah, I ain't leaving California. I'm just gonna go to an obscure city.
Mm,
Like I'm gonna
mm.
move to like Irwindale or somewhere
I
that
ain't
niggas
I ain't
never
never even heard
heard
of
of. Y'all
that.
gonna be like, what? Where the fuck is
Yeah, where the
Irwindale?
hell is Hermandale? And can I
I'm
catch a
not even
flight there
gonna
from
tell you
LAX?
niggas it's I moved there. But I'm gonna go somewhere where like nobody knows. And not that nobody's gonna know me because if I'm famous, I'm famous. You can't run
Exactly,
from it. But at the
exactly.
same time, I'm gonna go somewhere where like I'm not gonna be bothered all the time because it's not even my personality. I don't even like being bothered. So
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
and my ultimate goal is to be wealthy enough to where my family is taken care of and famous enough to where if I go to a restaurant that I like, I won't have to pay for the food.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Before we get out of here, man, Dolomite, tell folks where they can find you, where they can find the podcast.
Social media, I'm Uncle Dolemite on everything. Uncle Dolemite. Niggas be spelling it DOLO for some
Well,
reason.
you know what? Because of autocorrect. Autocorrect, even like in the transcripts of these podcast episodes, it'll spell it as Dolomite.
Yeah, that's like a mountain range in Italy or some shit like that. The Dolomite Mountains. But it's
You ever have you ever thought
DOLEMIT.
about like, and I don't mean to cut you, I just thought about something. You ever thought about people, not that they should, you ever thought about people confusing you with the late Uncle Dolomite, Rudy Ray Moore?
Well, he's just Dolomite.
Okay.
So like as far as like with that, and I've talked to, my mentor and certain other comedians about this. I'm gonna start using my real name
Mm-hmm.
when it's beneficial.
Gotcha.
Like, once I start getting movie roles and shit, like once it becomes like a situation where these checks is getting big enough to feed the family, y'all niggas getting Anthony Webb.
There you go.
But right now, because Uncle Dolomite is gonna get more eyes on the stage than Anthony Webb will,
Right.
I'm Uncle
Makes
Dolomite. Like that's the
makes sense.
thing. Like when you're a newer comic, that name recognition matters.
No doubt.
When they call you up, hey, we got whoop-de-whoop coming up. If they say Anthony Webb, you're gonna expect a nigga with a suit on. You're gonna expect a nigga, that look like he go to church all the time. If
Right,
they say Uncle Dolemite, you're gonna be like, "What's this nigga do? Turn flips?
right.
What the fuck? Who the fuck is Uncle
Who is
Dolemite?"
this? Who is
So
this?
the intrigue of the name helps me
Mhm.
on stage
No
because
doubt.
they like, with a name like that, this motherfucker got to be funny.
Got to be.
As opposed to Anthony Webb, where they like, "Oh, Imma go get a drink. Y'all let me know if it's funny. My name is highly common."
There you go.
So, you know, I run with Uncle Dolemite. But yeah, y'all can find me Uncle Dolemite on all social media. TikTok, Yo Mama Boyfriend. And, as far as the podcast, Too Much
Mhm.
Game. TOO Much Game, not the number 2.
Every Sunday on YouTube. He's on all streaming. If you don't catch that, because it's actually a live podcast on YouTube, and then if you don't catch the live podcast on Sundays, you can it's on all DSPs. You doing a show today, or you good?
Yeah, I gotta do too, honestly, because I'm trying to get the duo episode for Pod Wars.
Ah, I forgot about
Uh
that.
yeah, my co-host keeps turning me down. So that sucks because I'm trying to have a really good duo guest. Cause I was supposed to drop it last night, but like I told Smash and them, I had a show last night.
Right.
Like, nigga, I got a whole life going on. I'm not just sitting around waiting to podcast, my nigga. Like, as much as I'd love to just put up podcasts all day,
Hey man,
I got a lot going on.
people don't
I'm
understand these
trying to,
podcasts. They take time, and you just don't roll out of bed and just turn the mic on. It ain't that simple.
yeah, as much as sometimes I literally do that, certain times I can't. Especially if you say, "Oh man, it got to be episode with another person." I, I have a short list of people who I like to work with, and I
Hmm.
don't want to use none of them
Hmm.
because I feel like you know, it's too predictable for me to do it that way.
Right. Right.
So I want to use a wild card for
Okay.
this round because I want to 3-0 them niggas. I don't want them to win a single round. I don't
Hey,
feel
well,
like
you
they
off to a
beat me.
good start, man. You off to a good start. They
Yeah,
so you if you guys are listening to podcasts, there's a thing going on right now between the homies called Pod Wars. Check that out. It's Big Smash, and Rodus and Uncle Dolemite. So check that out. By the time though all I think all episodes by the time this episode comes out, all episodes will be out. But yeah, man, brother, appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, I know, Sundays is hectic. You got a lot going on, and you still might hit the stage somewhere in California, in sunny California today. So I always appreciate you coming through. For everybody checking me out, y'all know where to find the podcast, 12 Kyle Podcast, on all streaming platforms. Check out the website, 12 Kyle Podcast.riverside.com. You can get everything there as well. YouTube channel as well. That's going to do it for us. So for my boy, Uncle Dolemite, I am your boy, 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5,000. Cheers.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle Podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle Podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.